I've been doing a lot of cooking lately, and of course, this is my Nano Franco. When I asked him what he thought of my cooking, he said, "Why you no make it a sweet?" To which I replied, "What? Why you no make it a sweet?" Which of course I responded to with an, "Oh, astunad." Well, the man's got a point, and he's staring at me, so let's make a dessert. What better than a Zabaglione, a delicious and easy Italian custard served hot or cold that even Nano Franco can approve of. And I chose this dish as a send-off to summer. Best way to complement it is with some fresh summer berries, so you can use whatever you want. I'm going with some strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries because that's what I happen to have on hand. Give them all a good rinse, but you can use whatever you want. Now I'm going with a lemon zest. This is the zest of 1 lemon. And some mint to kind of freshen everything up. Now the juice of half of a lemon, not only for the flavor and the acidity, but this will also help out bring out some of the natural juices from this fruit. For a little bit of added sweetness, I'm going with the sugar substitute packets, which I'm going to shake vigorously for some reason. And this is about 3 tablespoons of sugar substitute. You can use the real thing, of course. And then we're just going to sprinkle a tiny bit of salt. Whenever I'm going with sweet, I like to just do a sprinkle of savory, just a tiny bit of salt to really help these flavors pop on your tongue. We'll give it a quick mix, and depending on how much you want it to break down, you can let it sit for as little as 20 minutes or a couple hours. I'm going to let it sit for about an hour and a half and get nice and juicy. Now to the main show, the Zabaglione. These are 6 egg yolks, just the yolks. Once again, I'm going with sugar substitute. You can use the real thing. This is about 3 tablespoons of sugar, and now this is 3 tablespoons of Marsala, which is classic in this. You can use a number of different things, but I like to keep it traditional. I love the sweetness of Marsala. We're going to cook out the alcohol, so don't worry if the little ones are having this. We're not going to have any drunk kids walking around, so it is safe for them. And just give this a quick mix to dissolve everything. The rule of thumb is you want to do a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of the sugar or whatever wine or flavoring that you're using. I did a half tablespoon, and I'm very happy with that. And I'm going to be serving my Zabaglione cold, so I have an ice bath here. This is literally just ice water, lots of ice in a container to cool down our Zabaglione. You're going to want to have that ready. Get yourself a boiling pot of water and lower it to a nice simmer, just a little bit of bubbles. We just want the steam to help us cook. You don't want the bowl to actually touch the water, so make sure that it's nice and low, and the steam is just going to come up as we whisk this vigorously. You don't have to do it super fast, but you do want to keep it moving to make sure that the eggs are cooking kind of evenly and there's no spots where the egg is kind of curdling. So again, just keep this moving, keep your water at a nice simmer so the steam is just coming up and hitting the metal bowl, and that is actually cooking it. And this just took a few minutes. You can see it thicken as it goes on, and we're going to go throw it right into our ice bath and keep spinning it to help it cool down super quickly. If you were going to serve it hot, you could serve it just like that, but I'm going to continue to just move this around, and it will cool down so super quickly. It'll thicken up even more, and that is what we're going for. And now I'm going to take half a lemon. I love just a few drops of lemon juice in this. I'm definitely not using the whole half a lemon, but just a few drops of lemon juice in this just really helps kind of brighten it up. And there you go. It really only took about 4 or 5 minutes. Just do this over low heat and kind of keep whisking it until you see the thickness that you want, and it does thicken very quickly, so that's why it's best to do it over low heat. And this is creamy, it's thick, it's absolutely delicious, it smells amazing. And there you have Zabaglione. And again, you could eat this with a spoon, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to kind of layer it, so I like a little bit of crunch. That's the only thing that's missing this, so I'm going to take some of these pre-made biscotti. They even have some chocolate in there, so that's going to work out really well. I'm just going to throw these in one of these countertop blenders, and whoa, it's getting pretty crazy inside there. But yeah, I'm just going to blend these up until I get a nice bit of crumbs. I don't want complete dust. I do want some texture in my cookies, so it just gives it a nice crunch. If you don't have biscotti, you could use Oreos, you could use Nutter Butters, you could use whatever you want. Let's grab our fruit mixture out of the fridge, and you can see it still has, I mean, the juices are coming out of it, but it still has a lot of its texture. You know, it's not like a compote, but it's just a really flavorful fruit mixture here that's going to work out perfectly. So I'm going to grab a wine glass. You could use whatever you want, but I like drinking out of wine glasses, so why not eat out of them too? I'm going to throw a layer of our fruit, layer of our Zabaglione, another layer of fruit, and top it with another layer of the Zabaglione. I love cinnamon, so I'm going to put a little bit of a sprinkle of that on top. Lastly, our cookie crumbs for that nice crunch. Could even throw a layer of this in between. And lastly, a nice pretty mint sprig. And there you go. You could chill this in the fridge for longer, but everything is already ice cold, so I am ready to go. Look at all those flavors. Look at all those layers. Again, you can get creative with this. Layer it however you want. The fruit mixed in with the creamy Zabaglione looks so good inside of there. And to me, this is just the most complete dessert. I mean, this is a huge wine glass, so this is more of a dessert for 2 or 3 or 1 savagely dessert-loving person. So again, you can use whatever kind of container that you want. This works out pretty well. This is a dessert that's going to feed a few people, but before I let anyone else taste it, I have to get my spoon in there myself. And just look at how thick and how creamy this is. It's so rich and so decadent, but it's not like filling. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, I can only have a couple bites, and that is why after my first bite, I just have to go in for another one and another one, and before I share this with anybody else, yeah, oh, I'm gonna sneak one more. So light, it's so fluffy, It's so airy and still so creamy that Marsala just gives the perfect sweetness. I love it just like this, but you could serve it hot over just berries or maybe a nice sponge cake. Get creative with it, do it however you want. Enjoy your Zabaglione. Zabaione. Oh, please, no, don't start that again.